Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Adventures of Drawing. I will draw a scene for you today using a couple of pencils, a smudging tool, and an eraser. So, without further ado, let's go right into this. I start by setting myself up a little frame that I stick to, so the drawing has some space to breathe, a space to exist in, and have an impact. I think it looks way better if there's a frame around it than if the drawing just goes all the way up to the edge of the piece of paper. Of course, you can always have a literal frame around it or stick it to a larger piece of paper to have that white frame around it. But since I'm not going to do that and just have it here in my sketchbook, I'll have this space around it. Okay, right here in the sky, I'll try to make the area as smooth as possible. Give it a very smooth grayscale, darker at the top and a little bit brighter towards the horizon. Let me try and get this left side as dark as I make the right side. And then extend this down. And I want to make the sky darker so you can see the bright things against it to create a contrast against the landscape that is below it. So maybe right here in the middle it has this value, and then going up it gets darker. Oh, that's a very dark line there. Let's see. Hello there, Yannick. What's up? Okay, now I have to adapt everything else to this dark line that I made. Go as dark as this line, so the line itself disappears into the sky. This could roughly be it. It's going to get better using the smudging tool now anyways. This gets rid of the line structure in the sky, and it should even out this dark line that I made a little bit. Let's go across once more. Like so. All right. I'm not going to have a straight horizon line today either. I'm just going to indicate the last layer of the landscape down here, way back in the distance. And above it, there are going to be some clouds. Using the eraser, I'll make some circular shapes, circular motions down here. To create the shapes of those clouds, and I'll try to pull off and layer them so that there are a couple of clouds in front of each other. Let's have the clouds in the back larger than the ones in the front, so they tower up. Behind those right here. Okay. Maybe like this, I don't know. Not going to be a lot of layers of clouds, but maybe that does it. Okay. Now I'll go and draw the shadows of the clouds down here at the bottom of those shapes, of those cloud areas that I erased. I'm going to draw in a couple of lines, just as the shadows on the lower side of the clouds. I'm glad you tuned into the stream again. Are you working at the site again? I'm guessing you are, but maybe you aren't today. Okay, now for those clouds, this is where the one in the very background stops, and then I'll start another line of shadows above this one. To layer those clouds one behind the other. I don't know, maybe like this. And I don't think I'm going to do it here. This is just going to be one cloud right there. Okay, now for the shadows on the side. Let's say the sunlight comes from the top left, top right. So we're going to have shadows to the left of those clouds. To the left of each volume. And especially to the left of the cloud right there. I'm adding a lot more shadows right here than on the right side. Some shadows up there in the volumes. And then down here, this one needs some shadows as well. Maybe over here and in there, right here. Going all the way over there, just a couple here. And there. Okay, and now here's the left side of the second cloud. So there are a lot of shadows here. To the left side of this big volume. and the left side of this big volume popping out at the top. My friend tries to impress girls by drawing realistic pictures of a Ford F-150. He's a pickup artist. Ooh, the puns rolling in. Haven't heard that one. Okay. Now I'll grab the smudging tool and very gently go along this lower edge of the shadows. Just pull it a little bit. Pull what's at the bottom side of the cloud a little bit into the lower edge of the side volume to create a transition from the face of the cloud that faces downwards to the face that points towards us. And then on the side, soften those lines up as well. Those shadows right here. Okay, right there. Go across here as well. And soften those ones up. I'm realizing that I've made a mistake right here. Softened up the lines to the wrong side. But that's not too much of an issue. Going over to this cloud right here then. Okay. Now let's start with the ground. I just want some hills in the distance. So we've got one layer up here that I've already indicated. Maybe this one starts a little above that line and then goes down here. Another one starts right here. It goes over there. And maybe that's that already. We've got a layer that is even closer, where we can start to see some trees. So I'm gonna draw those in, the tops of the trees that we can see. Going all the way over here. Maybe there's a bifurcation, like so. Or maybe it's more like over here at this side. And then it goes all the way over to there. Now, those hills in the distance are almost featureless. They're more clear at the top than they are towards the bottom. So I make them darker at the top and then lighter at the bottom. Just like so. Going across all the way. And then taking the smudging tool and softening that up. dragging the graphite down towards the next lower line. Okay, that's one layer done. Now we'll go into the second one right here, and we'll do just the same. Make the outline, and then give the area a value. A little darker at the top and getting lighter towards the lower area. So we've got this layer up here, and then we've got the next one down here. So we're going to do the same right here. And just once I'm done with this one, I think maybe we can see a couple of features in this layer already. It's not just blank, not just covered by the mist. So let me grab the smudging tool and just smooth it out. Up there and down here. Pull it down. Maybe make this a little darker in the distance. Soften up the contrast a little bit. Just make it more subtle. Okay, now still with the HB pencil, since I don't want a large contrast in this, since it's still rather in the distance, I'm making some M shapes in here, some indications of treetops, and then maybe a couple of lines in there to indicate some differences in the terrain. Maybe like so, just a little bit. I don't want to overdo it. Some more trees and bushes, and yeah, I think that's it for back there. Okay, next thing then are those trees down here. And they are darker at the bottom left. Maybe let me color those in just roughly with the HB pencil. Just quickly cross-hatching that entire area. Going the one direction and then across perpendicular to just give them a general light value. And then I'll take the fine eraser, and for every treetop that I indicated in the beginning, I will erase the top right area to indicate the part where the light strikes the leaves. I want those areas to be lighter than the lights in the background, since the contrast in the objects that are close is higher than the contrast in the objects in the distance. So we have lighter lights and darker darks up close. And all sorts of just medium values in the distance. That's why I mostly just use the HB pencil for the background and mostly the midground as well, to just keep the contrast rather low. Okay, now I'll create a dark edge down here above those trees that are in front of the trees behind them, where we have two layers of trees. I create this edge down here, and also to the left of each volume of the trees. I will make that a little darker, since that's the shadow side. Let me maybe do that systematically and start on the left side. And then move over towards the right. Over here, this one. This looks way better in the stream footage than on my piece of paper, since I can see quite a lot of lines in here and it looks like just lines that I made, whereas in the stream with this crappy camera it looks very smooth and like volumes. But maybe I'll be able to get this effect by using the smudging tool after I'm done with laying in the values. Okay, down here, maybe some more trees, just sketch them in. Down here, all sorts of stuff going on. Okay, now I need something right there. I had a couple of trees right here that I can barely see. But I did indicate them down here, so I've got to complete them. just in here. Maybe the last one right there. Okay, now let me try and make those volumes a little smoother. Get rid of some of those lines that just make this look like random lines on a piece of paper. Don't want to overdo it though, because really quickly I'll make those values all the same. I can really quickly lose the bright areas, and then it's just going to look like one big area of the same gray. I don't want that. I want there to be lights and shadows. Okay. Not too bad, I think. It's okay. It does somehow resemble trees, I think. Right here. Just over there at the right. Okay. All right, there we've got our midground, and now to the foreground. There's a hill right here. I'll have to put that right below those trees, otherwise there would be a gap. Let me add 2 trees down here. Maybe one right there, just indicated with the smudging tool, just the shadow side. Maybe something in here. In here. Okay. Now, let me give this foreground just a tiny bit of a value with the HB pencil. Just a little something like that. But leaving some lines, some really blank areas in between so that we can have some highlights. Okay. Then right here up at the top, I'll start to just make a couple of lines, go back and forth. Each line in here is an indication of a bump, a slight change in elevation in the terrain. Let's have something right here. Maybe like so. And something going off away from it right there. Just something right here. And a little bit over there. Okay. I think this does quite look like something. Maybe with a couple of gaps in between, but maybe if I crosshatch all this, the gap sort of disappears. Just, and maybe make some transitions. Extend all those lines a little bit down. To make the terrain look more three-dimensional. Okay, maybe I'm leaving in those light areas. It looks like the sunlight hits the surface right there. Okay, now I want there to be a tree right here. Gonna start by indicating this side of the trunk, the right side, and then I'll erase the area to the right of this line so that I can draw in a light area of this trunk. A little bit thinner at the top than at the bottom, but it goes way out of the frame, so it's not completely thin up there. Okay, and then let me indicate some branches down there. Maybe one goes like this, one maybe like that, another one right here, one going all the way over there from up here, another one goes into the distance from the trunk and away from us, and another one maybe down there, like so. Maybe one comes down from up there and another one from up here out of the frame. Okay, now I'll give the trunk an edge to the left again, and then I'll give it a bark, just some sort of structure going up and down, leaving a couple of lighter areas where there are recesses. Going all the way up to the top right here. And extending it to the right side. Now I'll switch to the HB pencil so that right here we have a light side still going up and down, creating short lines with blank areas between them. Right there. All the way up to there. Okay. Now I will give those branches I don't know what to say. I'm going to define those branches. Maybe that's the best way of putting what I want to say. With more pressure than before. Before there were rather soft lines, just as a layout, as an orientation for me where they would be. And now I give them a shape. And I make them wider towards the tree trunk. Okay, right there and right here. Getting thicker. Right here. And back there. Thicker as well. And this one right here. Now, maybe I'll add a couple of bifurcations, branching off. Just a couple for me to know all the areas where there are going to be leaves. Down here, over there with this one. A couple of small branches reaching down here. One coming out here. And a couple coming out right there. Okay. Now for the leaves, let me switch to the 7B pencil and just give me a second to blow my nose. All right. Okay. Just adding those leaves at the tip of the branches. You see me going back and forth and covering those areas with those zigzags. Abrupt changes in the direction, so each back and each forth, each of those lines resembles a single leaf. But so it looks like I am drawing all those single leaves when in reality I'm not. I'm just covering this area on my piece of paper with this structure that makes it look like there are a lot of leaves. Maybe make it a little denser. Especially towards the inside here. Okay, down there. Right here with this branch. Some leaves down here. Something down there. and quite a lot in here, almost entirely covering the tree trunk. Need a little more up here. And now going over there to the right side, maybe I'm going to leave this area right here so we can see the trunk popping out. Going down here, filling the entire area of the branches with leaves. Going over here and just this one left right there, and then a little bit up here. Okay, now I'll just fill in a little bit more to make it look more dense. Just very randomly go across all this cross hatching. Okay, and then you know the drill. Just add a couple of lines separate from the others to really bring home this effect of individual leaves. Maybe a couple in here, in there, over here, growing out there, down here. Okay, maybe that's it. All right. There's our tree. Now I want some more structure down there in the ground. Let's have some rocks down there. So one's going to be right here. Let me just lay them out first. Small one down there. Let's stick to those three. I don't want to destroy the structure of the ground too much since I like it. Okay, just fill in the left side of those rocks completely dark, and the shadow back here. And then on the right side, we have to erase the background so there's a light side. And then I'll add some horizontal lines in there for giving them detail in the shape and in the structure and the surface of the rock. All right. Maybe have some grass growing down there at the edge of it. and in front of it down here something growing out of the frame down there, a little bit of grass down here, maybe something at the base of this tree. And I don't know, maybe a little something down here. And down here as well. All right. Now, I'm not quite done. I want there to be one more thing. I'm not too sure about this, but I want there to be a person right here, just sitting in the grass, enjoying the view. I'll just sketch them in, trying to not give it too much detail, since I think if I try and give this person a lot of detail, I'm just going to ruin it. It's going to be the impression of a person, just enough for the observer to see, oh, there's someone sitting right there, just enjoying the view. So I indicated the outlines of this person with the HB pencil, then I erased the background behind it, and now I'm just filling in the shadows to the left of the person, and up here it's lighter on the shoulders. And then down there, that's a little darker. That does look like someone sitting there, just vaguely. Okay. And with that, we are done with the drawing for today. So let me clean up the edges now. Up here, let me see how well I'll be able to erase those dark marks. That's pretty good, I think. Over here to the right. And then the bottom edge. I think right there. Maybe, yes. Okay. Let's get rid of this residue. All right. Now then, thank you for joining me on the journey of this drawing today. I hope you got something out of it, some inspiration, or motivation for drawing or getting some other stuff done, using it as ASMR in the background. If you find yourself coming back to the stream or watching the VODs, please consider subscribing, maybe giving it a like, the VOD, and if you feel like it, go down into the comments and let's have a conversation about drawing in general, or maybe painting, or maybe specifically about what I'm fabricating right here. So, with all that done, thank you again for being here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.